The world is loud. It is constantly moving, constantly demanding. But if you know where to look, there are pockets of silence, places where geography and history have conspired to create a sanctuary. This is Somewhere Still, a guide to the quietest coordinates on Earth. On this episode, we are traveling to 3 corners of the globe to find the art of disappearing. First, we travel to one of the most remote regions of India, into the Zanskar Valley. Imagine a monastery that wasn't built on a mountain, but inside of one. We're going to Phugtal Gompa, a honeycomb of caves and prayer rooms clinging to a sheer cliff face. For centuries, the only way to reach it was a day's trek on a narrow path. It is a place where silence is built into the stone itself. Then we trade the mountains for the mist. We travel to the Isle of Skye in Scotland to crawl inside a damp, jagged crack in the rock. This is where a prince became a fugitive, and where the course of British history held its breath in the dark. And finally, we end up closer to home, but worlds away. Just off the coast of California lie the Channel Islands. They are visible from the highway, yet they feel prehistoric. A place where pygmy mammoths once roamed and where silence is the primary ecosystem.
Picture this. You're standing in a gorge in the Himalayas, over 12,000 feet up, and clinging to the sheer cliff face in front of you is what looks like a giant, chaotic honeycomb.
A honeycomb, but it's not made of wax. It's made of mud and timber.
Exactly. It's this incredible structure, Phugtal Gompa, built out from the mouth of a massive natural cave. It seems to defy gravity. And for centuries, the only way to get there was a multi-day trek through one of the most remote valleys on Earth.
So you have this structure that looks impossible in a place that feels unreachable. And it's been there for, well, that's where the story gets really interesting. It's not just one story, it's layers of stories.
That's the thing that gets me. How does a mud and timber building, essentially, survive in that environment for so long? It feels like it should have eroded away centuries ago, but it's still there, and it's still active.
That question is everything. It's not just about faith or endurance. It's about a deep, almost forgotten, technology, an indigenous knowledge of how to build with the mountain, not just on it.
Okay, so let's peel back those layers. The oral tradition for this cave goes back 2,500 years.
Wait, 2,500 years? So we're talking contemporary with ancient Greece, the Buddha himself? The legend says it was a place for arhats, these enlightened disciples, to meditate in total isolation.
And later, figures like Guru Padmasambhava, who brought Buddhism to Tibet, are said to have meditated there. So the place itself, the cave, has this immense spiritual gravity, long before the structure we see today was even conceived.
So the monastery is just the most recent expression of a sanctuary that's existed for millennia. It's like building a cathedral on a site that was already considered holy ground for 1,000 years.
Exactly. The formal monastery structure, the honeycomb we see, was founded in the early 15th century by a Tibetan Lama named Jongsem Sherab Zangpo. And he's this amazing, almost mythical figure himself.
The sources say he was a disciple of Tsongkhapa, the founder of the Gelug school of Tibetan Buddhism, which is a huge deal. What are the legends about him?
The story goes that he miraculously caused a spring inside the cave, a vital water source, and that he used his power to enlarge the cave to make more room. There's even a juniper tree growing above the cave that's said to have grown from a staff he planted. So he's not just an architect, he's a miracle worker.
That's incredible. And the monastery remains so hidden that the Western world doesn't really know about it until a Hungarian explorer, Alexander Choma de Kurovs, stays there between 1826 and 1827.
Yeah, and he's there working on the first ever English Tibetan dictionary. So this place of ancient spiritual refuge becomes for a moment this hub of cross-cultural linguistic scholarship. It's just another layer on top of everything else.
Huh. So you have the mystics, the formal institution builders, and then the academics, each seeking a different kind of refuge or knowledge in the same cave.
Which brings us back to that first question. How does a mud building survive all of this? The freezing winters, the intense sun, the earthquakes? The answer is this concept of a seismic culture.
I love that term. It implies that the knowledge isn't just a blueprint. It's a whole worldview baked into the construction. It's an understanding that the ground is not stable.
Right. So modern earthquake proofing is about rigidity, about steel and concrete trying to fight the seismic waves. But the Himalayan technique is the opposite. It's about flexibility. The key is something called timber lacing.
Okay, break that down for me. What is timber lacing?
Think of it like building a skeleton inside the walls. As they're building the thick walls out of sun-dried adobe bricks or rammed earth, they embed a lattice of wooden beams horizontally within the structure. These beams connect at the corners, forming ring beams.
Oh, so the mud and stone provide the mass, but the timber provides a ductile, flexible frame. So when the earth shakes, the wall doesn't just crack and shatter. The wooden frame allows it to move and absorb the energy.
It can sway and resettle instead of collapsing. It's genius. The research mentions a more elaborate version called talk or batar, which is like a ladder-like frame running the full width of the wall. It's an incredibly sophisticated system using basic local materials.
And this is all just local knowledge passed down. No engineering degrees, no CAD software, just an empirical understanding of physics and material science, developed over centuries.
Totally. And they combine it with other techniques like tapering the walls, thicker at the bottom, thinner at the top, which lowers the center of gravity and makes the structure more stable.
And what about the roofs? In that environment, a leak would be catastrophic. It could dissolve the walls from the inside out.
For important buildings, they used a special material. The research calls it Arga stone. They would crush it, mix it with clay, lay it down in layers, water it, and then, get this, ram it and burnish the surface until it became smooth and hydrophobic.
So, they're essentially creating a custom, handcrafted, ancient form of waterproofing membrane. Okay, that's incredible. It's a technology perfectly evolved for its specific environment.
And the location itself is part of that technology, isn't it? The choice to build there is a strategic decision. The name Phugtal, or Phugtal, translates to the Cave of Leisure, or more poetically, the Cave of Liberation.
Liberation from what, though? The world. The name itself signals its purpose. The isolation isn't a bug, it's the primary feature.
Absolutely. For most of its history, this was one of the most inaccessible monasteries in Ladakh. Getting supplies meant using pack animals, donkeys and mules, on treacherous paths in the summer.
And in the winter, the paths are snowed in.
In the winter, they would walk across the frozen Zanskar River, the famous Chadar Trek. It was the only supply line. So the entire rhythm of life in the monastery was dictated by the seasons and this profound isolation.
It's the ultimate moat. Not water, but geography and climate. If you're building a sanctuary, a place to preserve knowledge and a way of life, you couldn't design a better defense system. It selects for dedication. You don't just drop by Phugtal Gompa.
You really don't. And that isolation allowed it to become more than just a place of prayer. It became the heart of the community for the tiny villages scattered through the Lungnak Valley. It has a clinic, it dispenses traditional Amchi medicine.
And since 1993, a school, a free monastic school that combines traditional Buddhist education with a modern curriculum for kids from the surrounding villages. So it's not just looking inward, it's serving its community.
Which makes the next part of the story so complex. Because that strategic isolation, the very thing that protected it for centuries, is now ending.
The road.
The road. Up until 2022, 2023, it was still that multi-day trek. But now, a new road, the Nimmu Padam Darcha Road, has been pushed through the valley. What used to take days now takes a few hours by car, followed by a final hike of about 45 minutes to an hour.
So the moat is gone, or at least it's been bridged. That changes everything. It's a classic tension we've seen in so many remote places.
On one hand, it's a lifeline. It makes getting supplies, medical care, and materials infinitely easier. But on the other hand, it brings the world, with all its noise and distractions, right to the doorstep of a place designed for silence.
And this isn't the only modern intrusion. The monastery got solar power in 2016, which is obviously a huge quality of life improvement for the 70 to 100 monks who live there.
Right. You can't romanticize the hardship, but it creates this fascinating paradox. You have a 15th century mud fortress built with ancient seismic-proofing techniques, now powered by 21st century photovoltaic panels, accessible by a brand new road.
And there was that catastrophic event in 2015 that showed just how vulnerable they still are, road or no road, the flood.
Yeah, a landslide upstream created a dam, and when it broke, the floodwaters completely obliterated the school campus, the one that was serving all those local kids. The main monastery, being high up on the cliff, was safe, but the school was wiped out.
Wow. So they had to rebuild. It's a reminder that the challenges aren't just spiritual or about resisting modernity. The raw power of nature is a constant presence. The new road probably makes getting rebuilding supplies a lot easier, though.
That's the tension right there. The very thing that threatens the monastery's isolation is also what helps it survive and recover from a disaster. There's no easy answer.
So, what does it feel like to stand there today, at the end of this new road, looking up at that honeycomb? The sounds must be different. You probably hear the occasional truck engine in the distance now, where before it was only wind and chance.
I have to imagine so, but the core of it, the sheer verticality of the cliff, the scent of juniper incense the sources mention, the sound of prayers echoing from the cave, that's probably timeless. The feeling of the cold stone, the dim light inside the prayer halls decorated with ancient murals.
It becomes a sanctuary, not just from the outside world, but from time itself. The sources talk about this feeling of time slowing down. It's a place operating on a different clock.
And maybe that's the modern definition of liberation that Phugtal offers. It's not about being physically inaccessible anymore. That ship has sailed. The liberation is mental.
It's an escape from the relentless pace of the modern world, for the monks who live there and for the traveler who makes the journey. It's a place to disconnect from the constant stream of information and reconnect with something more fundamental.
The purpose of the sanctuary has evolved. It was built to protect a specific set of beliefs from the outside world. Now, maybe its purpose is to protect all of us from ourselves, from our own busyness, our own distractions.
Yeah, good point. The cave is the same, but what we seek refuge from has changed. It's no longer invading armies, but invading thoughts. And the quietest places, even those now at the end of a road, might be the most valuable real estate on Earth. Is it just me, or is there something unforgettable about the way wind echoes off wet stone?
Especially when that cave is hidden in the Highlands and once sheltered a fugitive prince. It's the kind of silence you can almost feel. Let's start with a sound.
I'm listening.
It's not silence. Not exactly. It's the sound of wind moving through a vast, empty space. A Scottish glen. It's a bitter, cold wind that rushes down from the mountaintops, carrying the scent of wet heather and damp earth.
And beneath that wind, you can probably hear water. Always water.
Yes, exactly. The sound of a burn. A stream tumbling over water-smoothed rock slabs. It's a constant rhythmic sound. But what you don't hear is anything else. No cars, no planes, no distant hum of a city. Just wind and water.
That's the sound of Glenmark in the Angus Glens. It's a place defined more by what's absent than what's there. It is, by all accounts, wild and profoundly lonely.
And getting there is part of its story, part of its defense. You start at the end of a public road, past landmarks with these evocative names, like Cool's Well and Invermark Castle.
But the real journey begins when the path disappears.
Completely. The terrain becomes, as one account puts it, slippery and dangerous. You're crossing streams without bridges, scrambling over rocky slopes covered in heather and blaeberry. It's just you and this raw, uncultivated landscape.
And the place we're looking for, this sanctuary, isn't obvious. It's not a grand cavern with an arching entrance. The descriptions say you have to hunt for it, following faint trails, looking for a specific large boulder on a grassy plain.
And even then, you could walk right past it, because the entrance to Balnamoon's cave is just a slit, a tiny vertical crack in a great slab of stone, almost perfectly camouflaged among the crags and boulders.
So the geography itself is the first layer of protection. The difficulty of the journey, the ruggedness of the terrain, and the near invisibility of the destination. It's a place that doesn't want to be found.
Which is exactly why it was chosen. The popular legend attached to this cave is enormous. It's often called Bonnie Prince Charlie's Cave.
Right. The story goes that after the disastrous Battle of Culloden in 1746, the fugitive prince, Charles Edward Stuart, hid here while on the run from government forces.
It's a romantic image, the young pretender sheltered in this impossibly remote crack in the earth. And he certainly had many hiding places. Clooney's Cage on Ben Alder, various caves on Skye and South Uist. He spent 5 months crisscrossing the Highlands and Islands, a ghost with a massive bounty on his head.
But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. The historical records, they don't really place Bonnie Prince Charlie here in Balnamoon Cave.
Wait, really? So the name is just a legend?
It seems so. The man who actually used this cave as a sanctuary, whose story is deeply tied to this specific place, was another Jacobite fugitive, a man named James Carnegy, the 6th Earl of Balnamoon.
Oh, wow. So the story is real, just attached to the wrong person.
Precisely. Like the prince, Carnegie fought at Culloden and fled when the cause was lost. With a price on his head, he couldn't go back to his family estates, so he came here, to the wilds of Glenmark.
And he didn't just find the cave, he improved it. He made it his own.
He did. The research says he reinforced the narrow entrance with rough stone and moss, making that already tiny slit even harder to spot. He essentially sealed himself in, creating a secret space within a secret place.
How long was he there?
For about a year, which is just incredible to think about. He survived because loyal locals would bring him food and news, warning him if redcoat patrols were nearby. Despite the huge reward, no one betrayed him.
Until Someone did.
Yes. After about a year, a local Presbyterian minister revealed his location. The Argyll Highlanders were sent, and he was finally captured.
So he's taken to London for trial, and you assume the story ends there. But it doesn't.
Not at all. There was confusion over his name. He had altered it to Carnegie Arbuthnot after his marriage. That technicality, that confusion in the legal proceedings, was enough. He was acquitted.
No way. After a year hiding in a cave, he gets off on a bureaucratic error? That's amazing.
He returned to his estates a free man by 1748. The cave, his sanctuary, had done its job. It kept him alive long enough for fortune, or paperwork, to turn in his favor.
So let's step into that cave today. If you manage the difficult hike and find that hidden slit in the rock, what does it feel like to be there now?
The accounts from modern visitors are really striking. The word that comes up again and again is cold. It's a profound, damp cold that gets into your bones.
One description calls it a dark, dank, and soulless place, cold and infested with cobwebs. It's not a cozy refuge.
Hardly. It's a claustrophobic hollow. The air would smell of damp rock and moss, that ancient, earthy scent of a place that never sees the sun. You're immediately aware of being underground, enclosed.
There's such a contrast there. Outside, you have this vast, wild, beautiful glen. The wind, the open sky, maybe even the sound of red squirrels chasing each other, as one visitor noted.
And then you squeeze through that crack into this tight, dark, chilly space. You can feel the weight of the rock above you. That must have been the feeling for Carnegie. The price of safety was this profound confinement.
And standing there today, you feel that history. It's not just a geological feature. It's a space charged with the desperation and resilience of the person who lived there. You feel utterly disconnected from the modern world.
It makes you think about why we seek out these places, doesn't it? Why we're drawn to these stories of hiding.
Completely. For James Carnegie, the need for sanctuary was literal and life or death. He needed a place to physically disappear from the world, to survive.
And for us, the threat isn't a military patrol, but the noise, the constant connectivity, the demands, the sheer pace of modern life. The need for a sanctuary is still there. It's just taken a different form.
That's a great point. The journey to a place like Balnamoon's cave, the difficult hike, the deliberate search, is almost a ritual of disconnection. You are shedding the modern world with every step, every scramble over a boulder.
And maybe it doesn't matter so much that the cave is cold and damp inside. The power of it lies in its seclusion and its ability to hold a person apart from the world, whether that world is 1746 or today.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most profound sense of peace comes not from comfort, but from isolation, from finding that small, quiet crack in the stone where the rest of the world simply can't reach you.
Do you remember the last time you heard nothing but wind and seabirds for hours straight?
Honestly, I don't think I ever have. At least, not like what you get out on the Channel Islands.
It's somehow both ancient and untouched. Chumash trails disappearing into silence, California fog rolling in.
Picture this. You're standing on a cliff, and the wind is just constant. It's not a city wind that rattles signs. It's this deep, oceanic rush.
And what do you hear in that wind?
That's the thing. It's what you don't hear. There are no engines, no distant traffic. Just the wind, the crash of waves on rocks below, and then
this incredible chorus of birds. Thousands of them.
Gulls, cormorants, maybe even the calls of brown pelicans. And if you're near the shore, you get that other layer, the barking and grunting of sea lions and elephant seals. It's a soundscape that feels ancient.
Completely. But here's the kicker. This place, Channel Islands National Park, is just a few miles off the coast of Southern California, one of the most densely populated places on the planet.
Wait, so you can be somewhere that feels totally primordial, yet you're technically still in the orbit of Los Angeles. That's a wild contrast.
Exactly. One writer for National Geographic said you get the sense that no other human beings exist. It feels, and this is a quote from another traveler, about San Miguel Island, like the end of the world. So how can a place so close feel so profoundly remote?
It comes down to the geography of silence. These aren't just islands. They're the peaks of a submerged mountain range, tectonically uplifted. There's a deep, formidable channel of water separating them from the mainland.
So it's not a gentle wade out to them. The ocean there can be incredibly turbulent. You can't just rent a motorboat and pop over for the afternoon. Access is limited to parked concessionaire boats or small planes. And even then, trips get canceled all the time due to rough seas.
That isolation is the key. It's a barrier that has preserved not just the quiet, but the biology. This is the place famous for island biogeography, where you see evolution happening in fast forward. The island fox, which is unique to each island, and the pygmy mammoths that once roamed here, they evolved because they were cut off.
It's like a natural laboratory. And that isolation didn't shape animals, it shaped human history for millennia. For over 13,000 years, this was the heart of the Chumash world.
13,000 years. That's a staggering amount of time. We're talking about human remains found at Arlington Springs on Santa Rosa Island that are among the oldest in all of North America. This wasn't some remote outpost. This was a center of civilization.
Which is such an important reframing. We often think of sanctuaries as places people escape to, like the monastery in Phugtal Gompa we talked about, hidden in the Himalayas. But for the Chumash, for most of their history, the islands weren't a refuge. They were home.
Exactly. They developed this incredibly sophisticated maritime culture to thrive there. The key to their entire society was the tomol.
The plank canoe. Okay, let's get into this because it's brilliant. These weren't dugout canoes. They were built from redwood planks, which drifted down the coast and then stitched together and sealed with a mix of pine pitch and natural asphaltum, which they called yope.
This technology allowed them to connect the islands to the mainland, creating a massive trade network. It wasn't just about fishing, it was commerce. The islands were essentially the mint for their currency.
The shell bead money. Right. They would harvest olivella shells and painstakingly shape them into beads called a chum. This was their currency, traded for resources from the mainland. The islands were a center of economic power, all powered by the tomol.
And it was a spiritual center too. Limu, or Santa Cruz Island, features in their creation story. Point Conception, on the coast opposite the islands, is where they believe souls ascend to the afterlife. This entire seascape was and is sacred ground.
So when did the idea of the islands as a sanctuary, in the sense of a refuge, actually emerge?
That really begins with European contact. When the Spanish arrived in the 1500s and later established the mission system in the 1700s, everything changed. The mainland became a place of disease, forced labor, and cultural destruction. The Chumash population was decimated.
So the islands, which had been this vibrant center, suddenly became a symbol of what was lost, a sanctuary in memory, a place that held the spirit of their ancestral way of life before the unprecedented blows of colonization.
Precisely. The isolation that once enabled their unique culture to flourish later became the very thing that preserved its memory and its physical remnants from the total erasure happening on the mainland.
And for the modern visitor, that sense of isolation is the entire experience. When you land there today, it's not just remote, it is actively unplugged. We're talking no electricity, no cell reception, no stores, not even trash cans. You pack everything in and you pack it all out.
No potable water on most of the islands either. On Santa Cruz and Santa Rosa, you can find it at the campgrounds. But for a place like Santa Barbara Island, you have to bring every single drop you plan to drink.
Speaking of Santa Barbara Island, its remoteness has been taken to a new level recently. It gets fewer than 750 visitors a year as it is, but now its dock is gone. Destroyed by winter storms.
Seriously? So how do you even get on the island?
You have to land via a skiff onto a rocky ledge next to the old dock. It's a literal scramble to get ashore. It makes an already difficult-to-reach place almost mythical in its inaccessibility right now. You have to be incredibly self-reliant.
Wow, that's not a casual day trip. That's a commitment. It forces a different kind of mindset. You're not a consumer there. You are a guest, and a very temporary one at that. You are completely subject to the terms of the place itself. The wind, the tides, the trails.
That's it. One traveler on Santa Rosa Island described it as a grueling, rewarding, windswept paradise. You're hiking for hours without seeing another soul. The experience is one of profound solitude, of being a small part of a much larger, wilder system.
But here's where the story comes full circle in the most powerful way. While modern visitors are seeking this temporary sanctuary of solitude, the Chumash people are actively reclaiming it as a living cultural sanctuary.
Oh, this is the best part of the story. It's not just history. In 2001 and 2004, they completed crossings from the mainland to Limu in a newly built tomol, the LU1.
Which means swordfish. I love that. It's not an artifact in a museum. It's a living tradition, paddling across that same turbulent channel their ancestors did. They are literally retracing those lines of connection.
And it gets bigger. Just recently, on October 11th, 2024, something monumental happened. The Chumash Heritage National Marine Sanctuary was officially designated.
Wait, that was just a few months ago. And the key detail here is that it's the first national marine sanctuary ever to be proposed and led by an indigenous group. This is huge.
It's a massive act of reclamation. It protects over 4,500 square miles of ocean, connecting the existing Channel Islands sanctuary to another one up the coast. It formally recognizes that this water, this whole seascape, is a place of sacred sites and living culture.
So there's this incredible forward momentum, but at the same time, the past is still fragile. There are still threats, right?
Yeah, and it's a painful contrast. A Los Angeles Times article reported that on Santa Cruz Island, invasive wild pigs have been rooting up and destroying archaeological sites. Over 687 sites, including burial grounds, have been impacted.
That's gutting. So you have this incredible historic victory with the sanctuary designation, a moment of national recognition, happening at the same time that irreplaceable ancestral sites are being desecrated by feral pigs. The story isn't over.
Not at all. And it really makes you think about what a sanctuary is. For the traveler, it's a sanctuary from the modern world, a place to find silence.
For the island fox, it's a sanctuary that allows its unique evolution, an ecological haven. But for the Chumash, it's a sanctuary for their culture. It's not about emptiness. It's about a place that is full of story, spirit, and life.
That's a great way to put it. The solitude we might feel there isn't emptiness. It's just the absence of our own noise. What remains is this deep, layered presence of 13,000 years of human history and an even longer natural history.
Which feels like the ultimate reason we need places like this. It reminds me of Bonnie Prince Charlie's Cave in Scotland, another place defined by its isolation. But here, the story isn't just about one person hiding for a year. It's about an entire people's endurance over millennia.
Right. It's a sanctuary that doesn't just let you unplug, it plugs you into something far older and more profound. It recalibrates your sense of time and your place within it.
And with the new marine sanctuary, led by the Chumash themselves, it suggests a future where these places aren't just preserved as relics, but are managed as living, breathing cultural landscapes. A sanctuary that is not just about the past, but about the future.
We've traveled a lot of miles today, from the thin air of the Zanskar Valley to the damp stones of Scotland, and finally, the quiet shores of California. And if there is one thread tying these three places together, it's this: silence isn't empty. In the modern world, we tend to think of silence as something that's missing, a lack of noise, a lack of signal, a lack of news. But standing in Phugtal Gompa or on Santa Cruz Island, you realize that silence isn't an absence. It's a presence. It's a weight you can feel. You don't have to move to a cliffside in India to find it, but you do have to seek it. Thank you for disappearing with us for a little while today. This has been somewhere still.